Brian, just your take now that you've been able to see film on that 1-1 draw at Colorado.
Yeah, some good, some bad. That's a tough place to play at altitude. I think the guys, weren't as, it wasn't their best game of the year, but it was enough to get a point. I talked through the film, the whole, how we gave up the goal. Yaimar, a little bit of sloppy defending there, top of the box, but then the wall. It's heat of the moment stuff. Our objective, what we've done in the past, is just up on our tippy toes. But in that moment, they're all trying to make a play, so they jump, and credit to Mihalovic. So we're going to solve that one. If it's within a distance of the goal, we'll put a guy on the wall like everybody does. Look, we're playing Messi later this year, so we might have to work on that. But, I accept responsibility for that. We should work on that, be clear on that. And other than that, it was a, good Colorado team, and we came out with a point.
Jordan Morris goes down. Just do you have any updates?
Yeah. So the update there is they didn't like the images that they got when we first landed in Seattle. So they're going to retake the MRI today at 4 o'clock, and then we have to send it to the specialist in England. So we'll have those results tomorrow.
Just to clarify, when you say they didn't like them, it's not that they.
They were hazy. They were fuzzy. They were bad. Yes. It's not like he blew his.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify.
Okay. All right.
When you say work on, what does that kind of look like as far as putting a man down on the line for the wall?
Well, you see it in all different leagues, different things. So what you try and do is you try and boost your ability to. The wall gets higher. But clever players have figured out when you jump, they roll it on the floor. So if you put a guy on the floor, it means the guys in the wall can jump higher.
No, but I mean when you say work on training, isn't that as simple as just lie down here? Or?
Yeah, but designating who that might be and what the distance is. Steph has to take, the senior players, Christian, who's at the end of the wall, Steph, they have to, if it's, let's say it's 27 yards away. A guy hits it on the floor, Steph Fry's going to save it. But what if it's 25 yards away? Are we going to put a guy down there or not? So there's some certain things that they have to make decisions on. Who's taking it? If it's Messi, we might put one down there. If it's 35 yards away, you never know.
Brian, I just wanted to know, I'm sorry, in terms of Jordan, was there something missed in his assessment of how ready he was at all? Where was the...
We're going to find that. We're going to find that out. We'll do the best we can. Jordan was ready to play. He wanted to start the game. So, I made a decision to keep the same team on that won 3-0. That was my decision. So he wasn't happy about it. He was anxious to play. So we'll sort that out when we get the MRI images back, and we'll have another update for you guys.
What would you say the time? Pedro came out around the 55th minute in this game. Is that about where is that a fitness thing, or how would you describe where he is?
That was state of the game. He could have played longer.
Okay.
I wanted to get fresh legs on again. We're at altitude. We've got a deep squad, so that was my decision. Didn't like the way we started the half.
You see a common denominator in Danny Mazovsky's performances, why he just keeps finding the back of the net in every game?
Well, because he's putting the work in. Goal scorers sometimes get on these streaks. We're going to have to ride him as long as we can. So, until Jordan gets back, and, good on the kid.
We saw Osaze out here. How would you say, what's your perspective on him as far as potential?
Well, I'm looking forward to next Tuesday, and he's got some big opportunity there. And, if depending on what happens with Jordan, if there's a chance to sign him, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Craig and I will talk about that. But, he scored a lot of goals so far for Defiance, but he's got to do it against, better competition. And he's got a chance against the Timbers.
We saw Jackson Reagan working out here.
He's getting closer.
He's getting closer?
Yeah, he'll be in partial trainings this week and next week, and try and get him into full training the week after.
The team had a really hard time building out of the back. Well, not having a guy like Jackson there, is there a need to maybe simplify things a little bit and maybe not build out as much?
They pressed 4-2-4, which I'm sure you saw, and they made it difficult. We worked on getting, our center backs in the gaps. We talked about the pivot play. We talked about our normal false fullback or a midfielder coming out wide. It was just Colorado did a good job, and like I said, we didn't play as clean as we could have.
2 games into Ryan Kent's time with you guys, how would you
Better.
assess them, and
Good.
where was his fitness level?
Well, his fitness level is going to get better, but he's got some quality. You can see that.
St. Louis is coming from a performance that they were able to score a couple of goals. They also conceded. What are your takes on St. Louis?
It's a good team, solid team. I mean, a new coach is figuring out MLS. It takes a while, but it'll be a competitive game.
Do you think a lot about the first time you saw them this season?
Well, I wasn't there.
But you did get to see it, though. Even
I saw it
closer,
on tape.
maybe.
Yeah.
I saw it on tape. No, we'll devise a game plan for him. Obviously, we gotta figure out who's going to start, and we'll tinker around with a few things, make sure the game plan is right. But we'll be prepared.
What about Alex when he was able to sub on? What did you kind of maybe see from him?
Alex was okay. He came on and put the work in. He understands he's in a competition with Kalani, and that's healthy.
What do you like between the two players?
I like both.
Is there much difference between the two right now? Or
Not
are you
much.
seeing- Yeah.
Not much, Jada.
Just in terms of Pedro and how dynamic and positive he's been, have you seen anything differently in the way he's kind of adapted to the group, to the system in general?
He's been great since he's been here as far as the group is concerned. I think you're just seeing a better athlete. All the rehab he did last year, he's a better athlete. He looks better, he looks healthier, leaner. So it's credit to his hard work.
We kind of talked about a little bit about the Pedro and the Ferreira and Albert maybe being a little bit too similar. What did you see out of that combination in this game?
Maybe, but they're both technical, good passers. So trying to get both of them on the field at the same time is, something we want to work on. But yeah, they like playing in the same spot, but can't have 2 players there.
With Danny, you can say, okay, he's on a good goal scoring form, but you look at him just getting himself into these dangerous positions over and over again. It seems to be a very repeatable skill. Is there anything that you can kind of see there and say, okay, I mean, it's because it's not like he's hitting these 20-yard bombs. It's everything he's getting is in and around the goal. It's good instincts, those kind of things. I don't know, is that something that makes it easier to believe in? There's a long tail to?
Maybe. I would think, are we set up to maximize his strengths? Maybe. If we're trying to get in the prime assist zone or early crosses, Kalani missed him in the first half, but his movement there, but that's a movement that Jordan has done 100 times for us. So there's some similarities there. He does stretch the field a little bit different than Jordan, so it's just getting his feet wet, and he scored that first goal, and then he got engaged, and he's feeling good about himself. He's been working hard in training, so I think it's just a combination of a lot of things.
Yammer played it in uncharacteristic performance in this one.
Are you saying he was bad?
I'm saying he had a poor performance in this one. Do you allow him to just kind of find his own, ground on his own? Do you talk to him? How do you work that out?
He's a senior player. We watched some film this morning. He was not exempt from showing 1 or 2 plays where he wasn't good, and we'll move on.
So there's no additional anything. Just let him.
He's a great man.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.